With Governor Brad Henry officially leaving office today, we thought this would be a good time to check up on a large pot of stimulus money that had been under his control. Here's the Oklahoma Impact Team's Alex Cameron.
A little more than a year ago, we interviewed Governor Brad Henry about his plans for $105 million stimulus dollars he had to spend at his discretion. Well, interestingly, not all of that money's been spent, and much of what was spent didn't go quite where the governor had planned. Oklahoma Impact reporter Jennifer Lauren explains.
I had well over 100 requests, 100 applications for funding.
In November of 2009, Governor Brad Henry had a plan for every penny of the $105 million stimulus dollars he was given to help stabilize state government. He would use a little more than half of it on education. $35 million would go to Common Ed and $29 million would go to Higher Ed.
I believe that education and providing more educational opportunities to the people of Oklahoma is really the key for our state in terms of our future economic growth and prosperity.
Other big allocations included $15 million toward disaster relief for Oklahoma cities and towns and $14 million to settle a federal civil rights complaint with Langston University in Tulsa. Governor Henry soon discovered what stimulus recipients across the country had already been dealing with. Stimulus money comes with strings attached. Many of the projects Henry chose didn't qualify for stimulus money. For example, the $15 million for disaster relief was cut, and the civil rights complaint will now have to be settled by another administration. The governor shuffled 6 of those millions to fund construction of the American Indian Cultural Center and Museum in Oklahoma City and sent even more money to education. Common and Higher Ed ended up with $68 million, or almost 70% of the governor's stimulus money. That includes $16 million that had to be repurposed 2 times, from tax reimbursements to textbook reimbursements. At one point, people wondered if the $16 million was lost, including incoming State Superintendent Janet Barisi.
It appears there's a lot of finger pointing on both sides on this issue.
The $16 million debacle, she says, is proof she needs to look into communication issues within the state.
I want to know where the controls are. Where was the communication? Where are the lines of communication? Whose responsibility was it?
State finance employees say the stimulus rules created huge headaches for them when it came to that $16 million.
Most agencies in the state that have received stimulus dollars are reporting those through us to the feds. But sometimes getting to the end level of detail that they require for transparency purposes can be complicated.
But in the end, they say the $16 million is accounted for and will pay salaries at the Department of Education for 2011. Now the question is how the state gets by without stimulus. According to a spokesman for Governor Henry, the hope was that the 2 years of stimulus would be enough to carry us through. That hasn't happened completely. Replacing some of the stimulus dollars is going to be a challenge. Jennifer Lauren, the Oklahoma Impact Team.
The governor's spokesman says many of the cut projects were not shut down completely, but funded by the state instead. And there is still another $10 million in that account that will now be spent at Governor Mary Fallon's discretion. For Oklahoma Impact, I'm Alex Cameron.
And if you have an opinion on how that remaining $10 million should be spent, let us know at news9.com/Oklahoma.